Hello everyone. I'm now a bit over 4 months to my Japanese learning journey. I was initially going to wait until 6 months to make an update video, but things have evolved so differently than what I expected that I thought it might be interesting to share. Essentially, in my previous update, I mentioned that I would be continuing Anki and Immersion, but that I would also try outputting. Stick around to the end where I do a bit of a free flow output if you're interested. First, for Anki until just recently, been continuing at the same pace for both the 2K 6K deck and my Immersion deck, taking 20 new cards from the core deck and 5 from the latter. I was able to hit my 20,000 mature cards milestone for the core deck with a total of 2,389 mature cards. Counting both decks, I've learned a bit over 3,000 cards since I started Anki. This pace has been fine for now, but has been getting a bit difficult to keep up with. Here's a simulation of what it would look like if I continued at this pace, with the top 3 lines corresponding to 20, 15, and 10 cards a day respectively. Combined with the bottom simulation for my Immersion deck, things would get pretty insane in early 2025. Of course, it would also mean that I would finish the 2K 6K deck early, but I don't think it's worth the daily struggle. I'll leave the simulation on in the description if you want to check it out. To experiment, there's 3 things that I want to change moving forward with Anki. First, I'll be trying out the FSRS algorithm, which apparently is better at predicting when you'll forget learned cards, and is less predictable but leads to similar retention with less reviews overall. I'll link to a video made by AnKing going into the details. Second, because I'm switching algorithms, I'll also start using the easy and hard buttons. The reason that I wasn't previously is because kept things simple, and because with the legacy algorithm, it's been shown to have negative effects overall. Since it shouldn't be an issue with the FSRS and might actually lead to better results, I'll be trying it out. I know that currently I'd often want to press easy on some katakana cards, and similarly, there's some cards that just won't stick. Now for Immersion. Starting with YouTube, same as before, been mostly watching YouTube for Immersion. I haven't noticed a big difference in comprehension, but I often recognize vocabulary that I had just reviewed on Anki, which just goes to show that a lot of comprehension is really just a vocabulary grind. I did mention this previously, but I try to only watch Japanese content. Actually, when using this YouTube account, I strictly watch Japanese videos. Occasionally, at the end of the day, I might go on another account to watch English content, which I guess is often related to Japanese learning. But making another account and being selective on what I watch has made a big difference on the actual time I spend immersing. In my last update, I said that I didn't really watch anime for the purpose of Japanese learning, and this is starting to change a bit. I watch Yuru Camp Season 1, and I started watching GTO for fun. Yuru Camp has some camping vocab that I didn't know, but they come back pretty often, so after the first 2 episodes, I guess, I was able to just watch it and enjoy the show. I didn't stress too much on understanding everything, and I think this is important to keep things interesting. I also enjoyed learning a bit of Kansai Ben, and even mined a few Kansai Ben cards for fun. GTO, or Great Teacher Onizuka, is definitely much harder to understand, but it's a good show and I'm learning to accept ambiguity. I'll sometimes pause and try to understand some parts that I didn't really get, but try not to get too caught up in that. I still don't think that I'm ready to watch shows with more complicated plot, and I think I'd get frustrated missing some key moments, so I'll stick to more laid-back anime for now. For reading, I had mentioned that I wanted to do more of that, but wasn't really able to do so. Although I did start reading easy NHK news, which doesn't take much time, and I'm still reading Mata Onaji Yume o Miteita, I'm still only like a third in, and that has a lot to do with my next point, which is that I've been spending a lot of my time trying to output. ごきげんよう。我がの車へようこそ。その言い方、もちろん冗談ですよ。今日はね、スクリプト使えない。自分の言葉を使って僕の会話練習方法を説明します。まあ、 つまり1ヶ月の前に会話練習を始めた。基本的に毎週日本人と日本語の学習者一緒に喋る。いろいろないい人終わった。日本人とめっちゃペラペラの日本語の学習者。本当にびっくりした僕。まあね、ちょっとつまらないけど、これは僕の会話の練習方法。本当に毎週喋る。そんなつまらないの話。ごめんね。でも本当に面白かった。まあ友達を探した友達、今新しいの友達ある。何これ。For output, honestly this is the main reason why I'm making a video now instead of the 6 months mark. After the 3 months update, I immediately started going to language exchanges, and let me just say that it completely changed my way of looking at language learning. Personally, although immersion is my main source of learning, I think that output, more specifically, using Japanese in a way that is fun and engaging, is really important. Going through these language exchanges has been a big step for me. At first, I was so nervous I couldn't say anything coherent. It was honestly pretty scary, but it's been a lot of fun. It was important for me for these events to be face-to-face, not necessarily with a teacher. That's because I want to be able to have genuine conversations, not feel like someone is helping me because I'm paying for their time. And because of this environment, I was also able to meet some really nice people, made some friends that are also interested in language learning. I met a lot of Japanese people that are here on working holiday visas. They're generally really open to hanging out and visiting places together. So we've been hanging out and going to events such as Japan Matsuri. Mind you that I make a lot of mistakes and often make up words that don't even exist, but none of that really matters. We have to remember why we're learning other languages in the first place. It opens a door to other cultures and other people. And seeing the results of my hard work pay off, in other words, being able to laugh and share common interests in another language, is a huge boost and motivation. I also now have a small group of friends with which we hold small study sessions, which really helps with motivation and kind of brings back nostalgic university vibes. Next, for grammar, I didn't do any this past month, but I'm considering doing some in the coming weeks to solidify some basic concepts. I still struggle with different verb forms. Although I can mostly understand when I read and listen, I notice that I can't actually recall when I speak most of the time. I think that this is another important point about Japanese learning or learning in general. You have to identify what you struggle with and do some isolation learning to bring it up to par. I still haven't decided if I want to continue Kyodali's videos or quickly read through Minna no Nihongo or take IMSS. I might also look into other resources. If you have any recommendation, please do let me know. Now for time management. If we're looking strictly at how much time I've been studying in 4 months, that would be 364 hours total. It can be broken down into 15 hours of grammar, 138 hours of flashcards, 168 of listening. Out of those, 121 are for active listening and 47 are for passive. I have 26 hours of reading and 17 hours of output. Now, of course, I don't start a timer every time I speak with someone in Japanese, so most of this is from actual language exchange sessions. And even during those, if for example it's half English and half Japanese, I'll only count the Japanese part. Overall, this is about 3 hours per day on average. In the first 3 months of learning, I didn't quite hit the 100 hours per month goal that I set for myself, but I did manage to do so this last month. Moving forward, I'm again going to try reading even more. I'd like to be able to read faster and solidify my grasp on the kanji that I know. I'll keep outputting weekly and hopefully become more confident with expressing myself in Japanese. I'm almost halfway through the 2K 6K deck, which is awesome, but like I said, I'll be reducing my daily new card count and changing the algorithm that I use to hopefully spend less time on Anki and more on Immersion. I've also been considering taking the JLPT in December. The deadline is September 23rd, so I'll still take some time to think about it. But since I'm trying to find work in Japan, the only one that would really be useful is Enter. But I also don't know if I would be able to prepare in time for it without cramming JLPT exam practice, which honestly is not why I'm learning Japanese in the first place. I wanted to reiterate that outputting this early might not be optimal, but I'm not trying to be optimal. I just want to do the things that I enjoy. It's the small wins along the way that make this journey worth traversing. It's by going out of your comfort zone that you'll make memorable experiences. I wanted to go work in Japan when I was 17, but I was told by everyone that it wasn't a good idea, and I ended up changing my mind. Now I'm turning 28. I don't regret the decisions that I made, and I don't regret the experiences that I had. But now I'm making a decision for myself. I will become fluent in Japanese, and I will move to Japan. I just gotta put in the hours and enjoy the challenges along the way. If you're interested in sticking around for the journey and building a community, don't forget to subscribe. Thank you so much for watching. Bye bye.